Hello and welcome, it's me Martin, and today we're going to be talking about how to maintain and establish rapport with your English language students. Thank you ever so much for everybody who has subscribed so far and liked my previous videos, and also for all the comments and support. And earlier this week, as I'm recording, I achieved 17,000 subscribers, so woohoo, yay, here we are now. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe. It would be great to have you on board as well. This is going to be a rather relaxed video, nothing too dramatic and nothing too fancy, but I thought I would just slow it down a little bit, grab myself a nice Korean beer, and also chat about how I maintain and establish rapport with language learners. So feel free to watch this as much as you can, and apologies if this is going to be a longer, more relaxed video, but I thought I would take it easy today and also share a different style of video, nothing too dramatic and nothing too fancy, but take my time and also deliver something which may help you when it comes down to teaching either face-to-face or online. Anyway, before we continue, I also like to remind viewers that I do have a Discord channel for anyone that wants to join, and on this channel I share a variety of material and opportunities for either teaching online face-to-face, jobs, prospective students that I can't teach, as well as other teachers connecting with each other and sharing ideas, teaching opportunities and that sort of thing. So again, if you're not a member of the Discord channel, feel free to join. We have now 30 members, which is great, so thank you ever so much. A huge shout out to everybody who's joined so far, and I hope you join as well. So the first advice I have for any teachers either teaching a group class or one-to-one is to get to know the students and welcome them. You can normally do this with a variety of get to know you activities, and my favorites are either two truths and a lie, or other common icebreakers with surveys and that sort of thing. It's also important to get students to complete a needs analysis before the first class, or maybe as part of their homework after the first lesson. You get to know a bit more about students, their likes and dislikes outside of the classroom. You also get to know a bit more about what they enjoy talking about or what they enjoy doing in their free time, and you can maybe start to incorporate things that students enjoy into your lessons. My second bit of advice for anyone who's teaching students either for the first time and trying to maintain and develop that rapport is to treat each student as individuals. It's very common for, as teachers ourselves, to, especially if you have a large group of students, for them to fall within sort of that cluster within the classroom. If you're teaching online, it's also important, if you're teaching a group of students, to try and focus on students as individuals rather than maybe treating them as a group. Once you start to treat each student individually, then you start to get to know a little bit more about each individual student rather than maybe the loudest students in the classroom or online. The more vocal students are obviously going to come, and you're going to get to know them quite quickly, but try and get to know a bit more about the quieter students. Try and nominate the particular students that are starting to be a bit quieter in the class, or try and get maybe the more confident students to nominate the less louder students, the quieter students in the class to answer particular questions. Once you get to know students individually, then this will help you when it comes down to maintaining that rapport, and then you will feel more comfortable approaching them individually as well. The third recommendation for developing and maintaining rapport would be to possibly focus on the positives. As English language teachers, as teachers ourselves, we tend to focus on the negatives or the particular areas of weaknesses with students, which is not a bad thing, because I suppose we're looking at what sort of areas of language do students have difficulty with, and we try and accommodate those weaknesses or try and improve upon those weaknesses. However, it's quite common for us teachers to not necessarily focus on the positives. What are these individual students achieving? What are they good at? Once you start to realize on the positives, and you tell the students, well done, you've done amazing with this or that or the other, then they feel a sense of achievement as well, rather than just focusing solely on the negatives. The fourth recommendation for maintaining rapport would be to build trust and empathy. Trust your students. Feel that they are going to complete activities. Give them time to complete tasks. If you set up homework, then maintain that trust and ensure that they will complete the homework. If students haven't completed particular pieces of work, then there's probably a reason to it. Either they've been very busy with other courses, or perhaps they've had personal issues. If you have that interaction with students and you treat them individually, they'll feel a sense that they can come to you if there are any difficulties. And if you have their trust with you that you're not going to share anything that they want to share, then they're more likely to open up to you. And also be honest with the students when you're maintaining that trust. Tell them, if you haven't graded their work, tell them, I'm very sorry, I've not graded your work just yet. However, I've been very busy with X, Y, and Z. If you're honest and you've built trust with the students, then they will give you just a bit more ground than would you be very cold and unapproachable, and they will feel a sense of distaste if you haven't completed tasks that you've promised. For me, the fifth recommendation is probably the most important when it comes down to maintaining any form of rapport with students. I suppose what you could do is ask yourself initially, what in my mind is a teacher? What do I see myself as a teacher? Do I see myself as a facilitator? Do I see myself as a figure of authority? Or do I see myself as equal to other students? It's important for any teacher to recognize who they are as teachers, as educators, but also for them to be themselves, be authentic with your students. It's so important that students get to know the real you as an authentic person rather than the teacher you. If you're a teacher and you see yourself as a figure of authority, students feel slightly uncomfortable to come to you because you set that unspoken, that tacit barrier between you and the students. However, if you're authentic and if you're a natural teacher, then the students may feel a lot more comfortable approaching you and talking to you, and they feel a sense that you're as equal as them. So really have a think about who you are as a teacher, and also what you see yourself as a teacher, and also how authentic are you within the classroom environment, either online or face-to-face. Okay, so the sixth recommendation when it comes down to developing and maintaining rapport, in this case, would be to not fake happiness. I suppose it goes towards, and it's very similar to what I previously mentioned about building that trust. If you fake any form of emotion to the students, then the students are likely to see it. They're not slow, they're very clever, and they'll be able to pick up very quickly how honest you are. If you're faking any form of happiness, or you're faking any positive remark, then the students will see it immediately. You could be in the classroom and you could be saying, "Wow, congratulations, Simone, that is very good. Yeah, very good, well done, yeah." If you're happy, you're happy. If you've had a very busy late start, then you're going to be a bit tired, but tell the students. I remember when I was on my CELTA course, actually, and it was my final course, and I was so stressed because the train was delayed, and this was in South Korea, where you can always rely upon the trains. And my last class, the train was, delayed, and it just stopped whilst I was on the train. And I literally ran from the station to the CELTA Centre, and I got into the classroom with about 15 minutes to spare. Fortunately for me, I was able to get everything ready the day before. I had all my material ready, and I was sweating. I was a rack of nerves. And without even thinking, I said to the students, "I'm really sorry. I'm out of breath. I'm sweating. My train was late coming into the station, and please bear with me whilst I get my things together and deliver my final class with you. But thank you ever so much for your patience whilst I got here." And funnily enough, my trainer, the CELTA trainer, said to me, "What you said, how you acted, was as authentic as you could be. You weren't faking any sort of happiness or any form of control. You were authentic. You told the students exactly what happened to you. They were at ease. They waited for you to calm down a little bit, and then you delivered an amazing lesson." And I got the best mark for that lesson. I've probably got the comment somewhere, but anyway, that was that. So always remember, don't fake any form of emotion or happiness for that matter. Okay, so my final recommendation, and thank you ever so much for getting to this point. I really appreciate it, and it's been a rather relaxed video so far, and possibly I'm going to finish it off here, but one of my final recommendations for maintaining rapport would be to be culturally sensitive. Now, when you're teaching English to a range of international students, wherever they are, it doesn't matter what nationality they are, you have to be culturally sensitive. Don't make any remarks that may make them feel uncomfortable. Don't make any overgeneralizations. And for me, when I'm teaching in South Korea, either to Korean students or international students, I don't want to say anything that could offend Korean students or international students. I keep things as sensitive as possible, and I make sure that the students are comfortable to me. If there's any overgeneralizations, and I recall a couple of times when I'm teaching a group of international students, that one student may say something which in hindsight it shouldn't have been said, then you can get the students to think about, is that really true, or have I overgeneralized on a particular aspect of culture? So there we are. Thank you ever so much for watching. if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to hit that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe. We're getting closer and closer. I'm going to try and get to 20,000 subscribers soon, but I can't do that without your support. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. If you have any questions at all or recommendations about developing, maintaining rapport with your learners, feel free to share in the comments. It'll be great. And if you also want to support this channel, along with the one member that we have here on YouTube, somewhere, I'll display their name somewhere, feel free to join as a member. I really appreciate it. You'll get a shout out just like this person. And also, thank you ever so much. Have a wonderful week. Take care, stay safe, and happy teaching. Bye bye.